Hello everyone, welcome to the Behind Enemy Lines, the video. Today we're going to make flamethrower templates for Flames of War, and flamethrower teams in particular. So we should try and get it to look like this bad boy here. So we're going to move on and see what we need to build this. Alright, let's get on to it. Alright, so some tools we're going to need. Of course we're going to need a small base. Battlefront sell those, and they come with miniatures of paperclip of course. Some super glue, because we're going to be gluing our fingers together. Pin vise, because we're going to need to make a hole for the paperclip, you'll see soon. And some clump foliage. Green clump foliage. It's good stuff, this. Alright, so we're going to need to get some measurements, because a flamethrower in Flames of War has a 4-inch range. And these paperclips need to be straightened out, of course. And it's not exactly 4 inches. That's cool. What we'll do is we'll enhance that by putting it halfway into a base, a small base, giving it that extra few mils or centimeters to get that 4 inches there. So we'll just measure up the additional measurements there. There you go. Bang. 4 inches, magic. And it makes it easier so you're not putting flames in the middle of your opponent's toys, you know. So this will touch the edge of his base and you'll be like, oh, there you go, I've got you, you've been flamed, and team will go by. Right, so I try and center up as best I could, take it away for a bit because it turns out it was a bit of a pain in the bum to get that one drilled straight down. So we'll come back with what I'm doing next, which should be lining it up. Okay, it's getting there, looking good. Once this bit's all done, we're going to need to move on to a second part, which is getting that green stuff, the clump foliage, and we're going to want to start with one piece. That one piece we're going to want to roll down into a cone shape. The reason to rolling this into a cone shape is so that when it comes out of the flamethrower, because we're kind of doing this backwards, so the flame effect itself is emanating from the unit's flamethrower, but it's actually all based on the small base itself. That's where it comes from. That's what its anchor point is. So the first bit we need to make is a small cone shape, and point it as such. And roll it down and threading it on. And I should have used gloves here because super glue gets super hot and it's not that great to have on your fingers. But I did that. So just going to try and shape it with super glue. So the good thing about clump foliage is it does flex a little bit and it's quite cool in this effect. So we'll just get that one shaped just right. So it's just to give it the effect, and you know the flamethrowers are really small miniature anyway, so but 4 inches of burning. Okay, next step after this is basically threading, so we'll just speed this one up. So what I'm doing here is I'm just threading away with the little bits of clump foliage so that each bit kind of maps up, and I want to hide the paperclip itself. You know, I want to get as much of that covered as possible. And here we go. I skipped ahead because that was really boring, and you know, who wants to watch a paperclip being you know, threaded with clump foliage? So right now we've got something that looks a bit suspicious, and yeah, so we're going to take care of that. Well, actually we're just going to put more super glue on it, but this is to give it more stability. These things are going to be transited around, but at the end of the day, I want them to look really good. So a bit of super glue will harden on it itself. It won't cause any damage to it, so it's not a biggie. But I do prefer making sure that it's all well nailed down. I don't want bits of it getting caught on miniatures and ripped off. So I'm not actually going to show you how to paint it in this bit, but I will tell you at the end how I did it. It's really straightforward stuff. I spray painted in black, of course, and then I just took some model air colors and painted them that way. But choose your basing as you would to match the figures that you have, because it would look a bit awkward if it was a desert flamethrower and you're using winter infantry. Alright, so now it's all hardened and my fingers are covered in bits of super glue and all sorts of crap. I'm going to want to put it into that small base. So that hole we drilled at about the center. We're going to glue it in there and try and get this balanced in there. Okay. So you might need to wait a while once you put it in there for the super glue to harden. I didn't go all the way through the base itself. That reason is so that there's nothing sticking out and it doesn't go all too wonky. So I'm just going to try it again. Don't worry, I skipped ahead a few moments here and I try a few things. Basically, you're watching me wait for glue to dry. I mean, it's almost exciting as watching paint dry, but waiting for saying to glue to dry is it's pretty gosh darn boring. Yep. Woohoo. Anyway, this is set to look cool. I'm going to be using these with my Foliage glider assault company. Oh, boom. A tree. Alright. So what we're going to do with this now is we're going to need to base it. Where I'm going to use sand with super glue. Super glue is good because you put it down and you put stuff on top of it and it's done. It's there forever. It's not like PVA where we have to wait ages for it to dry. And with the sand on the bases, you can build up layers. As I'm going for a Crete look, I'm going to use sand. This is a special blend of sand created by a friend of mine. It's a mix of it's a really highly filtered builder's mix, but just be careful when you're trying to put that super glue on the base because you will get your fingers in there. And it dries quite quickly depending on how thin it is. So you'll see that I've covered the whole base basically with super glue. Get my special secret blend of super sexy sand. This is what I do for some miniatures as well. If I'm basing miniatures, is I dig a little pit. And instead of just hooping on, I put it in the pit. And I give it a little flick. And that gives me perfect coverage, and my fingers don't end up covered in super glue. Well, any more than normal. I give that a few seconds to set. See how it goes from there. Alright, watch this when I take it out. You'll see that there's still a lot of grey. But that's because the super glue was so thin that it dried really quickly. But not to worry, just go over it again. And with this you can build up layers. So if you want to build, say, a big wall of sand, just keep putting super glue on top of one small part and adding sand to it. It will eventually build up and build a nice gradient. I know right now you're thinking it looks like a stupid tree, but give it time. It will become more than just a stupid tree. It will become a stupid tree on fire.
Why you claiming you just don't care for it?
There we go. Cover it up. That should do it. Tap it off because otherwise you're going to end up with sand everywhere. I'd prefer that to the glitter that I'm still finding from the last episode. Yeah, that glitter, nothing cleans that up. I tried magnets. It's not magnetic, so yeah. That's mostly everywhere now. Yay, glitter. Anyway, that's this done. Sand can go away now. Now also another technique I'm doing is a flamethrower hits, but it's a liquid fuel generally, so it splashes. So what I'm doing in one of these shots is adding like, how do you describe them? Like still adding more of the tufts, but making them look like a fiery splash. So it hits something, it bursts up into flames. Maybe a bush caught fire nearby, I don't know. But it makes a neato effect as you saw in the original. And all that is a couple of space fillers to go around the outside there to make it look like an impressive